We all feel misunderstood at times, especially when it comes to our different personality types. If you're an INFP personality type, however, you've undoubtedly experienced a lot of this. Most of what INFPs think is hidden, at least until they get to know someone well. INFPs are introverts who can find it difficult to express themselves. Because their thinking differs significantly from that of many other types, they are frequently misunderstood. INFPs are sometimes aware of what is going on but have no idea how to change it. They are frequently caught off guard when they discover how others perceive them. INFPs are frequently misunderstood, and they may make an intentional attempt to bridge the gap between what they have on the inside and how others see them. Today I'm talking about the top 7 reasons no one understands an INFP. Let's get into it. Welcome to Success for Breakfast, where I'm serving up brain food made simple. Hit that subscribe button to get daily videos created to give you the tools to level up your life. Starting things off for us today, and number 7 is INFPs can appear to be too focused on structure and control. INFPs are typically seen as free-spirited people who see rules as suggestions. Because they get lost in their fantasies, INFPs are renowned for forgetting crucial principles. This isn't always the case though, and is one of the reasons INFPs can feel so misunderstood. An INFP that feels misunderstood may compensate for their internal chaos by becoming too rigid. They will focus on everything they can control in their life, such as the cleanliness of the environment, the food they eat, and their daily routine. Maintaining control becomes their number one priority. Most INFPs can improve their plans and lives by adding more structure and organization, but a misunderstood INFP can take this way too far. An overly rigid INFP loses their connection to their best attributes: individuality, intuition, and creativity. This back and forth for an INFP can be confusing to others who perceive them as always easygoing and free-spirited, not knowing what is going on in their inner world. If an INFP gets too obsessed on order and control, they need to try and spend some time doing things that are purely enjoyable, even if they serve no logical function. The number 6 reason why no one understands INFPs is they seem to suppress emotions. One of the most challenging aspects of having an INFP personality is the predominant function of their introverted feeling. Simply put, they may feel great, but they tend to internalize all of it. Emotion suppression is a common coping mechanism for INFPs. They are prone to hiding and dimming their feelings, which can be very confusing for others around them. INFPs need to try to be in tune with their emotions in order to develop their intuition and creativity. They must be able to feel their way through life's ups and downs. If they love or respect someone, it's the same thing. They may believe that this is self-evident, especially when merely giving up valuable alone time to be with someone demonstrates how much INFPs value them. But this is not necessarily clear to others. They might just have to say it a little more directly from time to time. It does take time to get used to it, and an INFP doesn't have to be obvious to everyone. When they try to express something other than their persona and sentiments though, it can help others perceive them and understand that INFPs actually do appreciate them, helping to alleviate the confusion that often comes with dealing with an INFP. Next up, at number 5 on today's list, is they seem inflexible and arrogant. The shining quality of an INFP is their imagination. The issue is that their reality is impacted when they live in a fantasy world. An INFP develops sophisticated thoughts about their ideal existence, but these desires are oftentimes never realized. A lot of INFPs despise everything that gets in the way of their desire to be young and free. Most of their decisions are based on avoiding the boring obligations of adulthood. This could result in a thrilling adventure, for sure. The imagined fantasy, on the other hand, inhibits an INFP from realizing their full potential. INFPs fantasize and spend their time contemplating various scenarios, which might make them appear disorganized and often misunderstood by others. Because an INFP is inherently a dreamer who enjoys envisioning various things, they can get caught up in concepts and beliefs that others think are unusual or far-fetched. They are very sensitive people, and their emotions bring them to a life's crossroads whose depth is not fully understood by most people. Some people believe an INFP's emotions are too intense, even when they are simply surface level, and give off the impression that an INFP is both inflexible and arrogant. Number 4 is an INFP seems unworried and carefree. INFPs usually have very deep emotions, but these emotions can be so deep that they are buried within and don't come to the surface, and are not reflected in their facial expressions, their words, or tone of voice. Sometimes INFPs are just shy and cautious. However, oftentimes they get lost in their thoughts, ideas, and feelings and don't pay much attention to what is going on around them. But most of them do care and do want to express themselves, but they don't know how, or even don't know that they don't know how. INFPs are underestimated more often than they realize, therefore trying to be more open may seem extreme to them. INFPs need to express themselves if something is meaningful or fascinating to them. They often assume that others know what they are interested in or skilled at, so they don't always express it openly, which often leads to a lot of misunderstandings. INFPs can be excellent candidates for a project or opportunity, but they may never become aware of it since other people are unaware that they would be interested or successful. If you've gotten some value from this video so far, please show your appreciation and hit that like button. That signals YouTube that you think other people could benefit from this video too. Next up, and number 3 reason no one understands an INFP is people may not take them seriously for their childlike demeanor. INFPs have often been called childish and cute, perhaps because their idealism makes them appear naive. However, they are rarely any of these things. They are idealistic in the sense that they feel everything can and should be different or better, and they strive to see the best in others and recognize their potential. But they are very aware that things are not always like that, and they are more serious than people assume. With the exception of household tasks, INFPs can work as grown-ups and do approach things in their own way. INFPs aren't known for taking themselves too seriously, especially when they're among individuals they can trust. They have strong inner morals, which can make them appear overly serious at times, especially when they want to communicate something essential to them. This paradox of being carefree yet overly serious is one of the main reasons INFPs can be so misunderstood. In the runner-up spot and number 2 on today's list is INFPs seem like individuals without boundaries. INFPs appear to have very few boundaries at times. They will tolerate a large number of people because they want to be courteous and kind, especially if they care about or need them. That isn't to say they want it taken advantage of, which can be confusing for others. Some people don't always respect the boundaries an INFP sets for themselves. Boundaries are extremely important to them. They do require alone time to recharge because they're sensitive introverts. Some people have the misunderstanding that an INFP's boundaries are unimportant, since they seem so carefree and therefore they don't need to respect them. What INFPs can do is hold firm in their beliefs. They can and must clearly explain their boundaries and show that they expect them to be treated seriously. INFPs must also express their expectation of being appreciated for who they are. When they actually reveal their inner selves, it's clear that they are not as naive as they appear. Topping our list, and the number 1 reason no one understands an INFP is they don't seem to be very interesting. After spending time with multiple people, INFPs prefer to spend their leisure time doing things for themselves. When they are alone, they may read, write in a journal, watch a movie, or create some form of art. That's why they do prefer an introvert sanctuary, a calm, dimly lit space that makes them feel at ease as opposed to spending their free time socializing. An INFP frequently hears the word calm used to describe themselves. It's usually meant to be a compliment. They're known for being a calm, quiet presence in the office and elsewhere, and their tranquil demeanor and readiness to patiently listen has been said to have a calming impact on others. That demonstrates that their self-development efforts are worthwhile, because as a highly sensitive person with tense nerves, calm is something an INFP must continually strive for. However, being viewed differently than how they feel is usually a good thing in this situation. By attempting to maintain a peaceful demeanor on the outside, they are typically able to acquire some level of serenity on the inside. An INFP, on the other hand, is so much more than calm. They rarely make an attempt to bring their powerful feelings, deeply held interests, and well thought out ideas to the surface, and express them in words or exhibit them on their faces outside of their inner group of friends. An INFP may believe that who they are and what they're thinking or feeling are obvious. However, there are situations when it's too subtle to be interpreted correctly, resulting in a lot of misunderstandings. There are several advantages to being an INFP, such as how they appreciate harmony, empathy, and inventiveness. They are regarded as mediators because they are inherently optimistic and aid and support people who are distressed. The bottom line in all of these areas of misunderstanding is that they sometimes need to go out of their way to give people a glimpse into their complicated selves that they usually keep concealed beneath the surface without noticing it. While this does distinguish them, it can also make them feel isolated or misunderstood. Are you an INFP who typically feels misunderstood? Leave a comment and let me know. You've got this, now go get it done. Grab yourself some more brain food to help you level up your life and click on one of the videos on your screen right now.